Hi all, Once and Future Gamer here, and once again, welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last time was a skate through Pokemon Emerald as we sought to see if I could beat that very game using just a single Surskit. Today though, we step back a generation and answer the question of if I can beat Pokemon Silver using just a single Porygon. We've used this before. It is a follow-up to my Pokemon Red run with this Pokemon. We have a 395 base stat total, with our worst stat being speed at 40 and our best being our special attack at 85, with both our defence and special defence being decent as well. With stats like that, you might be wondering about the challenge. I would say the moveset is underwhelming, as the only really useful moves we get are Psybeam and Tri-Attack. I may get some mileage out of Recover, but possibly not. Via TM, about the best options we get are Icy Wind, Psychic, Return and hopefully a useful hidden power type. Everything else is either trash accuracy, I'm looking at you Zap Cannon, or won't do us much good. The rules will be on the screen throughout. This challenge was suggested in the aftermath of my Pokemon Red run by J.W.J584. If you would like to see any follow-up challenges to previous runs I've done, links are in the description below to my Twitter or my Discord. As always, if you enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring that bell. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Porygon, so that I can do the whole run with it. I figure that this is as good an option as any, since none of the starters are good against us and none of them are bad. In theory, Cyndaquil is the only one that I cannot get a super effective move against, so that is why I let the rival have it. I nicknamed my Porygon Cyberdyne in honour of the first run. I was going to call it Cyberdyne 2, but no number options. Suppose I could have called it Judgment Day, but that doesn't really work in hindsight because Cyberdyne wasn't the name of that movie. We go to Mr. Pokemon and train up on the way. We get Psybeam at level 12, so that will make the first bit of the game somewhat tolerable. I mean, I still think the bug and normal gyms might be rough, but the ghost gym will probably be pleasant. We fight the rival, and though it is only a few levels advantage we have over him, his Cyndaquil can't really hurt us with tackle attacks. We shrug them off pretty easily and can do way more damage to it. Now, I don't know how long that advantage will last, but the fight doesn't last amazingly long as a result. We can free hit it with our own tackle and take it down before long. I move towards the first gym at Violet City and I am reasonably confident. I have done some training in Sprout Tower, I've leveled up to the point of getting Psybeam, and thus it is time to go out and face Faulkner. When the battle begins, our Psybeam crashes into his Pidgey, and immediately we one-hit the tiny bird, ending it as a threat, and that's really not a surprise. The next opponent is Pidgeotto, and this one is made of sterner stuff. We strike it with two Psybeams to bring it down, and only get hit with a Gust in exchange, which not really causing us much issues. One badge down! As you can see, I'm not hanging around at the start of this video, clearly. I mean, it got to the point where the opening stages of these videos were really getting too long, so I'm trying to cut down on it. I got rid of the predictions at the start because it was always a case of, right, who resists us, who can deal super effective damage, and that's who we'll struggle against. Let me know which version you prefer, predictions or no predictions, dragged out opening or straight into the action. In Azalea Town, we kick Team Rocket out of the Slowpoke well before going after Bugsy, and I don't know how we'll find this one. Could be simple, could be problematic. That Cypher can do that latter thing quite well indeed, so hopefully we don't have problems. I did accidentally trigger the rival fight early before I was ready to record, so I did have to lose that deliberately. Anyway, we one-hit the Metapod with a Psybeam, and that makes things a bit simpler. We don't have to worry about being string shot. We also one-hit the Kakuna with the Psybeam, and given we have lost plenty of past attempts in prior challenges due to being poisoned, that's pleasant. Cypher is faster, and I could go for agility to try and beat it for speed, but why bother? It hits us with 3 Fury Cutter attacks, but we can tank them relatively well, and on our part, the Psybeam attacks do about a third or so. As a result, we can free hit that with Psybeam, and that brings the giant bug down hard to give us the second badge. Rival fight time then, let's do this. I have a feeling this might go a lot better now that I'm deliberately trying not to lose the fight. A psychic type attack does pretty good against his team at this point, given he has 2-part poison types and we have an advantage level wise. This fight is an interesting one as we strike Ghastly with the Psybeam and bring it down very quickly indeed, so not an issue. Next up is Zubat, and ditto that comment. We bring it down very quickly with Psybeam before the final opponent is Quilava. This is faster than us and burns us on the very first turn with Ember, so very much not ideal there. We do about a third with Psybeam and hit it over and over, all while it strikes us with Ember attacks and the burn damage keeps sapping away at our health. But even though we lose about half of our HP, we take it down with 2 more Psybeams to give us the win, and we can move on. In Goldenrod City, it's time for the normal type gym and the fight with the Satanic Cow. At least we are immune to attract, given that we don't have a gender. I may have to make a concession with the use of agility here because I do not fancy being stun locked by Stomp, which I'd say very real possibility. I'm starting to record this challenge on a Monday, so return is not an option for several more days yet. I do go for agility straight off the bat when the fight begins, and we get hit with double slap in exchange. Clefairy takes just under half its health in damage from Psybeam, so I go for a few tackles after that to take it down. It goes for 2 metronomes on us, and one of those moves is False Swipe, which not an issue, and the other Shadow Ball, so really not an issue. Next is Miltank, and we blast it with Psybeam for about a third of its health, and it goes into rollout. We are faster thanks to the agility, so we are going to be able to outdamage it, and as a result we take her down in 3 Psybeam attacks before Satanic Cow really becomes dangerous and we get badge number 3. In Ecruteak City, I figure I'll go after the rival before I go into the Ghost Gym to tackle Morty, just to get an idea of if we are ready or not, because just like the next gym, he's got a Ghost type, a Haunter, and that is what he kicks the fight off with. We do outspeed Haunter though and blast it with a Psybeam to take it down straight away. Great start. Magnemite is worrying though, as it does resist all our moves and takes less than half its health in damage from Psybeam, though we do confuse it. It fights through confusion to hit us with Sonic Boom before we put it on red health through another Psybeam. It hits itself in confusion and it goes down. That is worrying for the Steel Gym. Next is Zubat, and we one hit that with Psybeam before we fight Quilava at the end. It's not quite a 2-hit with Psybeam, but at least we don't get burned by the Ember attacks it keeps unleashing on us this time, and we can shrug them off fairly easily, as we keep blasting it right up until the end, when finally we finish it with Tackle. Next up then is the Ghost Gym, and this should be easy enough. Maybe Morty's Gengar may cause some trouble. I think it might outspeed for sure, but everything else I think we will probably one-hit kill with Psybeam. I think though I will need to get an agility going early fight. That should benefit us massively since speed is comfortably our worst stat. We do just that versus Ghastly and get hit with Spite to drain some of the agility PP. That doesn't even bother me even slightly as we blast it with Psybeam for a win. Haunter number 1 is next. We outspeed it for sure and blast it with Psybeam to take it out. And then comes Gengar, and this is where things nearly go wrong. It survives our Psybeam on red health and puts us to sleep with Hypnosis. Rats. We then get struck with 2 Dream Eaters, which very much not ideal as they do about 50 points of damage to us collectively, but we do wake up and Gengar hasn't recovered sufficient enough health to survive a second Psybeam, and it goes crashing down hard. Woo! The second Haunter doesn't survive the move either, and 1 Psybeam later we have our 4th badge. Now that the ghost gym is out of the way, I normally go west, but here I am going east to the Lake of Rage instead, and I'm going to get to the Rockets hideout and the ice gym out of the way. I figure I might want Icy Wind for Jasmine's Steelix. I did the most famous bits of trivia about Porygon last time, about how it was blamed for giving those kids seizures. Spoiler alert, it was actually Pikachu's fault, but they didn't want to blame the mascot. But here's a few more bits of trivia. It is the only 3-stage evolution Pokemon that does not have a level up evolution, as it is also the only Pokemon that evolves twice by being traded. Also, it is the only 3-stage evolutionary line whose members were all considered fully evolved during their debut generations. It was an ironic creation of Satoshi Tajiri, who was told it was too late to make a game for the Game Boy during development of Pokemon Red and Green, that he should start making games with 3D polygonal graphics for next-gen consoles, and thus Porygon was born out of irony. Normally I do the what's going on with the channel bit during the Rocket hideout, but clearly I'm changing it up. I do go get the Hidden Power TM, and I am curious to what it actually is, since we are a bit short on useful coverage. I decide to test it out as soon as I can. It does super effective damage to a Venonat, so it could be fire, rock, flying or psychic. I really hope it's fire, just saying. When I test it out on a Noctowl, it proves that it is not rock type, since that does neutral damage and rock type would be super effective. I test it out on a part psychic type Girafarig, and that proves that it is not the psychic type. It's going to be flying, isn't it? And the answer to that is nope, it does neutral damage to a Machop in Mount Mortar, so it's fire type. Oh, awesome! That's going to make Jasmine easier for sure. Ice gym time then. It feels weird doing this before going to Olivine, but there is that freedom to do so. And it's not like Price is actually going to be hard, I think. That said though, both of the next 2 gyms after this one have the potential to be harder, so getting this one out of the way early is a sound tactic. Mind you, I'm much more confident about the Steel gym now for sure. Price? Simple. We one-hit his Seal with a Tri-Attack to put us up in the fight before his next Pokemon is Dugong, and it is more bulky than anything else. Trust me, I've had enough annoying fights with Dugong in Pokemon Fire Red than I want to admit to. It survives a Tri-Attack and blasts us with Aurora Beam, but we shrug that off and take it out on the second turn with Psybeam. Piloswine doesn't even bother to try and inflict damage on us when it comes down to it. We do about 3/4 of its health with Hidden Power. It only goes to Mist, what an idiot, and even though I am expecting him to heal it, that potion never comes, and we take Piloswine down with a second Hidden Power. Who do we think is worse as the 7th canonical gym leader? Price or Blame? Who's more dodgy? I have no idea how Price nearly made it to retirement age with this team because, wow. Anyway, 5 badges down, time to head west. There is much walking and swimming ahead as we get to Siamwood City Gym, though I think calling this place a city is probably pushing it just a bit. But anyway, time for Chuck. We should be okay, bar maybe getting hit with a dynamic punch from Poliwrath, which likely won't do us any favours. Let's see then how this plays out. Easy is the answer. Primeape is a one-shot knockout with Psybeam, and that's absolutely fine because I didn't expect anything better from it. Poliwrath is always tougher though, and I'm not surprised when it survives Psybeam, put it that way. I wasn't thinking it would survive one. However, it only goes to Mind Reader, which does it no favours, and we duly take it out with another Psybeam for 6 badges. I race back to Olivine, I save Ampharos from certain death, and then before long, it's time to go and fight with Jasmine. And I think this could potentially be the hardest of all Johto gyms. Or at least I did think that before we got that fire type Hidden Power. I can learn Icy Wind ahead of Claire, which should give me an equaliser there. Anyway, this is an easy fight thanks to Hidden Power, as with that move we are more than capable of one-shotting both the Magnemites without running the risk of an electrical attack coming our way and possible paralysis, which not going to be helpful. Steelix is a bit more durable as it survives our hidden power on red health, but only goes for a screech, which doesn't do it much good, as she then heals the Iron Snake, and we can take it out with 2 more hidden powers for a win, and badge number 7. As I head through the radio tower, let's talk then about what is ongoing with the channel. I've been smashing through both Ocarina of Time and Resident Evil 3 Remake as time has gone by, though at the time of recording and release of this challenge I don't know exactly where it will be. I'm writing this on August 29th and the scheduled release for this video is 23rd of September. Wow, I guess recording OAFG might have some more updates to what's been happening. And this is recording OAFG, I do have more updates. I finished Resident Evil 3 Remake, I am just about near the end of the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time, so there's not too much more left of that. I don't really know where I'm going to go next. I was thinking of Tormented Souls, but I need to work a way around the full frontal nudity that's in the opening video of that because I don't want to get a warning from YouTube. So I need to do some thinking about how best to cope with that. I did see it in another video that clearly didn't get taken down. Content creators still active, but yeah, if it's going to happen to me, it's going to happen to me. So I'm going to take it from that. There's... what else can I play? I mean, there's a few things I've got in mind. I don't really know where to go with that, but I'm sure we'll see in the fullness of time. It's towards the back end of the video, I do have a bit more information about something that I am going to look to do, so watch this space, I guess. It is actually funny because at the time of writing this, I was still recording the audio for the Surskit video. Mind you, I do want to get this one out of the way as soon as possible because the next challenge I have lined up could be very unpleasant indeed. So I think I would like an exceptional amount of time to do that one if needed. The next challenge I do was another viewer suggestion. I'm going to take another trip to Pokemon Fire Red and I am going to see if I can beat that game using only bug type moves. That is liable to be absolutely brutal, so I guess join me for that and we will see if I still have hair or not come the end of it. I was originally considering that to be challenge number 100. Now, unless I do get a better idea, the 100th challenge is liable to be Pokemon White 2 with just a single Charmander. I'm probably going to do some introspection on that video, have a look back on the previous 99 challenges and talk about some of them. Hardest battles, hardest challenges I did, that kind of thing. I can do introspection. Anyway, as always, if you have any ideas for future challenges, head to the comments section down below or follow the links in the description to my Twitter or my Discord. Want to get more use out of those? I do. The inclination comes and it goes. Also, if you are down there, please don't forget to drop a like or leave a comment. It's so good for the almighty algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already done so too. I'm still trying to get it to 300 subs come the end of the year and it's not looking good at the moment. We are sort of stuck around that 250 mark, which, don't get me wrong, I'm incredibly proud of, but I want to kick on. Also, there is a Patreon link down below if you are interested. There's a few things that I want to do going forward. I'll mention some of them towards the back end of the video. I know I've mentioned towards it already and maybe I'm tantalising you a little bit, but, well, what are you going to do about it? Please don't stop watching. Anyway, in terms of doing all this stuff, it is just a small matter of time. Next major fight is the rival one in the Goldenrod Underground, and I need to go back and get Fly at some point, since I realised I forgot it while in Cianwood City. I'm not too worried about the rival, I'm not going to lie, I think we're going to get over on him for sure. He begins with Golbat, and it is a small matter to blast it with a Psybeam, which takes it out in a single hit. Magnemite is next, and we hidden power it down for a quick victory, if you like, before Haunter is next, and we strike it with Psybeam to end that. Sneasel is actually faster and hits Feint Attack for minimal damage before we down it with Tri-Attack. Still no return at this point, but it's coming. Wait, spoilers alert I guess, but we don't know that yet. Quilava is last, and we can also strike that down with another Tri-Attack for the win. I do have the return TM, haha, told you, and I may use it at some point. That's an example of recording OFG, reading off the script, and then deciding to go off script and ad-lib a bit, and then realising the later bit in the script does actually contradict what I ad-libbed a few moments earlier, so yeah. After kicking Team Rocket out of Goldenrod, the next major fight is the one against Claire in the Dragon Gym, and I replace Recover with Icy Wind for this fight because that will be very handy going forward. I also replace Tri-Attack with Return because it has more PP and is all around stronger. I end up not using Icy Wind in the fight, but I figure it will be useful against Lance and any other flying or even rock and ground types. But also, we are not the fastest and it lowers speed, so I may get some utility out of it there. Claire is easy as we down the first Dragonair with Return before it can do something despicable to us, before we then do the same to the second Dragonair. I know at least one of them knows Thunder Wave, so I don't want to get hit with that, but the third Dragonair goes down to a single Return too. Kingdra actually survives Return on red health, hitting us with a counter attack in Surf, but we can shrug that attack off, and even though she heals it, we take it down with another 2 returns. Going towards Victory Road, I think the Elite Four shouldn't be too bad. We should be able to brute force our way through Will, Koga and Bruno, though Karen may cause some issues. I'm looking at her Umbreon being an awkward opener. I don't think we are going to have too much of a problem with Lance, bar maybe a miss from Icy Wind at an inopportune time. There is a rival fight at the end of Victory Road, but it should be okay. I believe that firmly. And this time, we outspeed Sneasel when it comes to blows, and we can down it with a single return to take us onto the fight with Golbat. Now, it doesn't scare me, and we duly shoot it down with Psybeam to put us 2 up in the fight. Third is Magneton, and our hidden power immediately wrecks that, meaning we don't have to worry about Thunder Wave. Out fourth is Haunter, and we blast it with Psybeam for a swift knockout, before the fifth opponent is Kadabra, and once again we call for Return and take it down hard. Last is the fully evolved Typhlosion, but you know what? It does nothing beyond getting 1 hit by Return, and that's the victory, meaning we can move on. Entering the Pokemon League, here are our stats before we go into the Elite Four, and I'm confident, as I said a few minutes ago. These are good stats at level 60. These stats are better than some Pokemon I've used at level 100. Speed is probably our worst, but still I think we're going to do it without the need for any more. That includes grinding as well. I don't think we'll need to grind more to get through the Elite Four, but why don't you take your guesses on if we can do it at this level or not right now, folks. Psychic type trainer Will is first, and I think maybe Slowbro and Executor might survive some hits, but I think we'll be able to return through the rest relatively easily. That is my theory anyway, and we'll have to see how it works in practice. This one is easy, bar maybe 1 or 2 hairy moments. Xatu number 1 is a 1-hit takedown with Return, which means that next he goes into the Jinx, and this is defensively frail, and we take it down with Return. Executor is third, and it survives our hidden power on low health. It has better physical defense than special, so I went that route. We get hit with Leech Seed, not good, but we take it down with another hidden power. Slowbro survives Return and goes for Curse, so now I'm leery about it surviving another Return, but we take it down with a second hit, meaning the only one left is Xatu number 2, and we down it with Return. Easy money, moving on. Koga could be harder, I suppose. I suppose the usual dodgy duo of Muck and Crobat will likely be annoying, but I can't see his other 3 Pokemon causing us too much trouble for sure. Let's go and find out just how much we can put the Ninja Master to the sword. Ariados out first goes down to Psybeam, and I never realised until the day of writing this just how bad Ariados actually was base stat total wise. Venomoth out second also goes down to a Psybeam before the third opponent is Forretress, and if we didn't have hidden power fire type this would probably not be fun, but we take it down in 1 hit with our quad effective move. Next is Muck, and I'm torn because it has decent special defence, but our special attack is better. I hit return, it survives on red health and goes for acid armour. Oh dear, I finish it with hidden power very quickly. Last is Crobat, and I have a feeling it might be faster. Proved a few moments later when it outspeeds and goes swing attack. I've anticipated this. I call for Icy Wind, which slows it down and does about 3/4 of its health. Koga does heal, but we are faster now and can 2-hit the bat with Psybeam for the win. Bruno is third, and unlike the other two, we do have to be somewhat cautious defensively, as fighting type moves are our only weakness and they could mess us up badly if we get hit with one. Machamp could be rough, but I think the rest of them don't stand a chance. We start this as Hitmontop, and I assume that Psybeam is going to be better to knock it out than return, and I misjudge somewhat badly. It survives the super effective hit on red health and then goes for Dig, meaning we have to waste 2 hidden power PPs to take it down. Thankfully though, the blow does very little damage. Hitmonlee is a one hit with return before Hitmonchan is third. It lands a Mach Punch, which we can't do anything about. It does decent damage before we do land a crit return to end it. Machamp is fourth. We strike return and it survives before rather massively missing Cross Chop. Woo! He heals it and we can take it down with 2 Psybeam attacks for the knockout. Before Onix is out last and we hit that with Icy Wind for a quick victory and can move on. The fight with Karen is probably not going to be as clear cut as the previous 3 were. I do not fear Karen's Umbreon, but like Sydney's Mightyena in the Gen 3 games, I treat it with a great deal of wariness because, just like Sydney's Mightyena, it can screw with our stats. I do have some luck in this fight, I'm not going to lie. Umbreon survives return but goes for feint attack rather than sand attack, which I can deal with all day, I'm not going to lie. We take it down with a second return. Bit of luck number 2 comes against Vileplume when it survives our Psybeam and misses Stun Spore, which probably even more massive. Third is Gengar, who does outspeed and goes for Curse, but we can finish it off with our Psybeam. In this gen, Curse doesn't hurt you on a knockout turn, so when we down Murkrow with return on the next turn after, we don't take any damage from it. And we still don't take any damage from Curse when we one-hit Houndoom at the end, so that's massively handy as we can move on to the champion. So, Lance then. We have super effective moves for 4 of his 6 Pokemon. 3 of them are quad weak to our Icy Wind. I don't think it will be simple, but I think we can do it at this level. Porygon is just about probably a bit better than the Pokemon I normally use for these challenges. Gyarados might be a bit rough at the start, but I think we should be able to 2-hit it with return for sure. Let's find out. My biggest worry is paralysis from Thunder Wave on the Dragonite. Anyway, Gyarados takes massive damage from return. It goes for Rain Dance and we finish that with Psybeam, so 1 down. Dragonite number 1 goes down to Icy Wind. Huge sigh of relief that it landed before the second Dragonite comes out next, and we also take that down in 1 hit with Icy Wind. Fourth is Aerodactyl, and this thing causes problems as we get outsped and hit with Ancient Power before missing Icy Wind. I knew that was coming somewhere. On the next Ancient Power it lands, it gets the Omni Boost and survives our Icy Wind before hitting Hyper Beam for massive damage. We take it out with our third Icy Wind attempt though. Whew! Charizard survives return and hits Flamethrower, putting us on 13 HP, but we down it with Psybeam to take us into the fight with the final Dragonite, and if we don't one-hit that, we are probably going down in our weakened state. Our Icy Wind lands though and takes it down to give us victory over the champion. We can head into the Hall of Fame as a well-deserved winner, and we can head into the post-game as the credits roll. However though, since this is Gen 2, it wouldn't be complete without going to Kanto. As per usual in these games, the only fights that I am going to focus on are the battles with Blue and Red, so I go through the other 7 gym leaders in double quick time, to get to the battle in the Viridian Gym with Blue. He is right about one thing though, when he says Johto's gyms are pathetic. Anyway, Pidgeot goes down to a single return, and now we've begun the fight. 5 to go. Next is Alakazam, and it is faster. It goes for Reflect, and that means it can survive our return, which not particularly good. We put it on red health, and then it goes for Recover, but we can take it out with a second return. Rhydon is third, and we put it down with an Icy Wind with no chance for retaliation. Fourth is Gyarados, and this one is a pain. The Reflect is still up. We hit the Sea Serpent with Icy Wind and return to put it on about a quarter. It goes for Rain Dance on the first turn and misses Hydro Pump on the second before Blue starts being an absolute delight and spamming full restores. Which, I'm not going to lie, is rather annoying, but at least the Reflect goes down and we can start inflicting some massive damage on it. A few full restores later that feels like an absolute eternity, and we can take it out with Psybeam to put us 4 up on the fight. We miss an Icy Wind on Exeggutor and it begins to charge up Solar Beam. And although we land Icy Wind at the second attempt, it crits the Solar Beam on us for massive damage. We do take it out with Hidden Power. Last is Arcanine, and although we are recovering health, I am a bit leery. It survives return, then hits a Flamethrower, which we survive quite hardily, though I am worried about it trying to extreme speed us. Thankfully, it never does, and we can drop it with a second return. Hang on to your hats, we're going to Mount Silver. So, time for Red then, and I wonder how this one will play out. Can we do it at this level or not? I'm not sure. I think there may need to be grinding, but we'll make a try and see. I think we will be underleveled for some parts of this fight, and that might be a bad thing. I think we will be slower than Pikachu and Espeon, and those two can mess us up with their stat changing moves, so we need to be careful. I don't think we will do it at this level, but we can try. Yeah, I'm right. The first effort is doomed to fail when we get hit with Charm from Pikachu, which means we can't even one-hit a frail electric mouse, so I reboot. And on the second attempt, Charm fails from Pikachu and we can one-hit it this time, but Espeon is too much. It is faster, it uses Reflect, and it can do massive damage to us from Psychic. With Reflect up, return won't even be a 2-hit, so that's pretty unfortunate. I need to train then. Time to run the Elite Four Gauntlet a bunch of times. While I do, I have some ideas I want to run with. I want to do type themed runs in the games as the missing type specialist. So, like every game has the gym leaders and the Elite Four, almost every game anyway. So I'd want to do the game as a type specialist who isn't there. I started playing Pokemon Violet as a rock type trainer. Big mistake doing that in Pokemon Violet rather than Scarlet, I will say, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, anything you'd like to see in that mould? I do think I want to do Alpha Sapphire as a ground type trainer, I think. Maybe Fire Red as a normal type trainer, maybe Sword as a ground type trainer or a flying type trainer. I have ideas anyway, again, matter of time. So, anyway, I make another try on Red at level 85, and it's slightly better, though not by much. If Pikachu fails with Charm, then at least we are set up reasonably, but we are still slower than it and Espeon. And when Espeon opens up with Reflect, we're in trouble. We can at least 2-hit Espeon now, even with the Reflect up, and we do resist the Psychic attack that little bit better, though again, not by much. When it comes to Snorlax, that thing is an absolute wall with Reflect up. We are a better special attacker than physical, but Snorlax is a special defensive mountain, plus it knows Amnesia. With all that, we can barely hurt it, and when we get paralysed by Body Slam, the writing is on the wall as it wears us down over and over, and we can't really do anything but take an inglorious defeat. Not good then. I go and grind up again to level 91 and see if this makes a difference. It was going to be level 90, but after running the Elite Four, I was that close to levelling, I went the few extra meters. Let us see if this makes a difference. I could try Curse and Double Team if I wanted to. I have had some success with that before versus Red. This time goes, well, let's see. We're no longer slower than Pikachu, and we strike it down with return, which is massive because there's no worry about charm. Espeon goes straight for Psychic and not for Reflect, which is even bigger because I go for Icy Wind, which lands, does about a quarter of its health, but also it lowers Espeon's speed, meaning we can take it down with return in the next round. Snorlax is third, we do over half its health with return, and it only goes for Amnesia, and as a result, a second return is enough to knock the rest of its health out. Venusaur is a 2-hit knockout with return. It only tries to go for Solar Beam in exchange, which doesn't do it a lot of good. I genuinely don't think I've seen Red's Venusaur ever use any other move than Sunny Day or Solar Beam. I should have gone for Icy Wind on Charizard because it is faster and hits us with 2 flamethrowers, but collectively they do less than half thanks to the healing from our leftovers, and we can 2-hit that with return, so that's even more massive. All that's left is Blastoise, and if we can do over half to that thing's health, we should be fine, because I do not think Blastoise will one-hit us with what we've got left, except maybe with a crit. And although a crit does happen, it is for us. We one-hit Blastoise with a crit return, and we are done. Red is down, and we can move on, as that is the end of the challenge. Well, that was fun. Not the hardest, but definitely fun. Maybe I might just keep going on and doing Porygon in every gen. It's a thought. I know we are a bit stronger than normal, so I tried to keep the over-leveling to a minimum. But this is Johto after all, where the level curves are very strange. Thanks for watching though, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment away and smash that subscribe button. Help the channel grow. Down in the description of the video there's a link to my YouTube page, my Twitter, my Discord and my Patreon. Now, as I said earlier, join me again next time for another Pokemon challenge as we go for some pain and see if I can beat Pokemon Fire Red using only bug-type moves. Still need to decide what I want to randomise the starter to be in there. No concrete ideas yet. There is a few Pokemon that get bug moves at level 1, like Kabutops and Venomoth, but I'm undecided yet. I don't think Starter is something a bit more overpowered who can actually get the move we need is going to help us too much, when our only move options are Leech Life pre-Gen 7 and Fury Cutter before Fury Cutter got good. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I'm kind of dreading it at the same time. We'll see how it goes. Join me next time. It's only a couple of weeks away before I go away with my girlfriend, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to the chance to rest and recover, but there's still plenty of time left before that, so I will carry on. Not too much more to say, folks, so yeah, going to jump off here. As always, this has been Once and Future Gamer. This has been Pokemon Silver with a single Porygon, and we are done. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye now, so long, see ya, take care.